Hello everyone, I'm iYogert, and today I wanted to make a quick video on No Hesitation. This is the new legendary auto rifle that was given to us on Tuesday with the new expansion, and it can be acquired through story progression and through turning in Pale Heart engrams. Its weapon frame reads flexible and agile, capable of healing allies and hurting foes. Hurting targets builds a restoration charge. Hip firing at allies while this weapon is charged heals them with rapid healing, increasing weapon damage and bestowing restoration to allies. If you ask me, that sounds more like an exotic description than a legendary, but what do I know? This charges the same way a glaive shield would. Dealing damage fills the bar beneath your reticle, and healing teammates will deplete this. Once you see the buff support weapon boost on the left side of your screen, your ally has been granted the restoration, and you will also be dealing 10% more damage with the weapon. So just with the weapon frame, we have a legendary weapon that heals our allies and gives itself a 10% buff, and that's without talking about any of the perks. The perks of this weapon is what takes it from being a powerful weapon and turns it into an absolutely broken weapon that makes you and your fire team nearly immortal. For starters, it has traditionally good perks in the third column in Subsistence, Demo, and Overflow, and these are great for normal auto rifles, helping us avoid reload, and in the case of Demo, gives us additional ability energy. The thing is, this isn't a normal auto rifle, so we're going to be looking to take the new perk here, Physic. This makes it so that rapidly healing an ally grants both of you restoration instead of just granting them restoration. I feel like I can't put into words how strong this is, but being able to proc healing from restoration without having to use your grenade slot or an aspect is the definition of power creep. Then if we look in the fourth column, we have another set of great options. Incandescence up first, and it's great for helping us with AoE ad clear by scorching and potentially igniting enemies that we defeat. Frenzy is another good option and one of my favorite perks in the game, which gives us a 15% damage buff and maxes out our reload. But these are not my recommendation for harder content. That honor belongs to the new Cycle of Life perk. This states that rapidly healing allies gives this weapon a period of increased damage. This stacks on the intrinsic damage buff that we get from the frame, giving us a roughly 38% damage buff for 5 seconds while both are active, and 25% after the support frame buff drops off. All of this for simply using the weapon as it's intended to, swapping back and forth from killing enemies to healing allies and back, to both keep ourselves alive and deal more damage. So now we have a weapon that can be used to damage enemies like we normally would with our weapons, but also heal allies. And when we do so, it will grant both of us restoration, and when we go back to killing enemies, be dealing increased damage. But this weapon is craftable, and if you're lucky enough to have already gotten the red borders necessary, then you can enhance Physic. The tooltip on this says that it just simply increases the duration of the restoration buff applied when we rapidly heal our allies. But what it doesn't tell you is that rapidly healing allies also grants both parties restoration ×2. This is now one of the few ways in the game to get restoration ×2, and the only way that's not related to being a solar warlock. This means that us and our entire fire team can become nearly unkillable, and this will be great in raid settings whenever someone else needs to do mechanics and has to put themselves in danger to do so. Think of stunning Caretaker, dunking on Ralk, or breaking Protoss shield. And if Edge of Salvation has any mechanic that's similar to this, it will be a must-have for the day 1 raid. Then, if anyone on our fire team is running Solar, they can indefinitely extend this restoration with Ember of Empyrean. Additionally, this also procs Ember of Benevolence, which will give us bonus energy for applying the resto to our allies. This means we can change our healing nade out while running this weapon for something more offensive like fusion or thermite grenades, which will be great for taking out high priority targets, something that especially Welllock was severely lacking. So I'm sorry to say it, but if you're on Welllock, it looks like you're going to be forced onto yet another support weapon, but at least this time it's a fun one. I wish you the best of luck when you're hunting this weapon, as I know I'm going to be grinding hard for it until I can get the crafted version. If you learned something from this video or just enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. Stay tuned for more of the prismatic builds. They're almost done, I promise. And until next time, I look forward to seeing y'all about the tower.